guys. Thanks for starting off your weekend here with us in that little corner. I'm starting a new series that's going to come out every single month. Interviews with different artists that I've worked with. So if you have a cool name for that, just drop it down in the comments. So basically the reason I'm starting this is because I don't really get to talk to the artists that I work with very often. I've only ever met 2 of the artists that I've worked with online. And basically what happens is I miss out on meeting some incredible people, even though we're already working together, we're creating something incredible together. I started this series so I could share with you some of my first contacts with these artists. And the first time that I did one of these interviews, I got all dressed up and it felt so out of place because it's just not me, that I decided to do them in my pajamas because that is usually what I am wearing when I'm talking to these artists. So I thought I'd give you a real insight to what goes on and how I do my work. The first interview will be with Paul Shaperas. Paul Shaperas is an incredible storyteller and songwriter. He writes punk operas that are just incredible stories that take place in the future and in the past. Really incredible stuff. You can check out all of it down in the description. Paul hired me for a job that he needed last minute a singer, someone that maybe flipped out on him or something. So he contacted me and was so happy with my delivery that he hired me on a couple more of his projects. And it was an incredible learning experience, and I would really recommend you guys check it out. Again, links are below. How you doing?
Pretty good. Oh wait, my video's not on.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you face to face. Is that Deadpool?
It is Deadpool. I put on a super fancy outfit for the interview and I felt really uncomfortable. You know what? Deadpool.
It looks great. I'm a big comic nerd. Okay.
For you, you're a songwriter as well as a storyteller. So how do you like define yourself?
At my essence, a storyteller who just chose music as the vehicle. I could have been a writer. I could have gone a bunch of different directions, but ultimately, I like the emotional outlet of music. It's amazing. The high when you're singing whatever particular emotion you're either singing or making. When you're making a song, you enter into this incredibly intense state, and it's wonderful.
Well, you feel it. You really can feel it when you listen to your music. It's intense. It takes you on a journey. It doesn't really give you the opportunity to stay in one place. It really takes it with you. Oh my gosh, I remember the first time I heard one of the first songs that we did, Lay My Body Down. I was like, what? It sounded like crazy guitars, and I'm like holding on to things. Like, what's going on here? Where am I going? That was such a crazy trip.
Yeah. I really, when COVID's over, want to do I want to do something live, but
You did that show in London?
Yeah, it's a cabaret. But I wanted to do an actual, one of the albums. And I've gone through everything, and I actually think that Janissary is the best choice. A single album is the way to do it. And so Janissary becomes the perfect, it's self-contained. It's one of my personal favorites. I think it's one of the best operas I ever did. And currently it's I really want to do it.
Are you working on anything right now?
I'm always working on something. I fear stop. I don't like the pauses in between.
Yeah. No, I know.
It's because otherwise, the existential nothingness. I really like having that space in the day. The space in the day where I get to go into my studio and sit down and enter into whatever psychological mind state I enter into when I make music, and it's wonderful. And honestly, I can't live without it. I love it.
Wow. I joined TikTok recently. Are you there?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So someone recommended was like, "Oh my God, you're Jane." Like, what?
Oh, that's great.
It was so funny because I had no idea that it would be on TikTok, and then suddenly she's sending me these videos, and like people duetting, like me lip syncing as I'm singing, and it was so crazy. Like, I had no idea.
Yeah, I kind of dig that.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big fan.
I've seen a couple of those. It's really cute. They're really cute.
You've only seen a couple?
Yeah, I got TikTok, right? So someone sent me, it's like, you know, people are like, you know, doing your stuff. So I got TikTok, I opened it, I watched a few. It was really, really nice. I love watching the cosplays. I just absolutely adore it.
It's amazing. I can't believe how much people have patience, and I mean, we are singers and writers, but somehow the whole actuality of being into art is something that I personally would never do. I think it's amazing. Putting the art onto yourself physically.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's the whole the cosplay, the dress up, the assuming of characters is just it's ballooned so much since I was young, and it was like this thing that rarely ever happened, and maybe there's some big science fiction convention, but now, you know, and for a while now
it's PJs.
Yeah, so it's great, and I love the, you know, the self-expression.
Yeah, so it's all crazy exciting. Did anything like that happen to you where you kind of stumbled onto something and someone recognized you?
It's more that I stumble on stuff on the net, or someone sends me something. I've been sent some weird, like, oh my God, check this out. Did you know this is happening? But you know, yeah, however anybody wants to, if anybody's responding to anything and, you know, playing with it, and, you know, it's part of their sort of their own creative inspiration universe, I'm all for it, you know. So,
absolutely, there's room for creativity on the entire spectrum. And it's always exciting to see where people are willing to open themselves up and connect to your art.
yes.
I feel really, really lucky that I started the music before COVID, and it kind of just led me through it safely.
Yes.
Continue doing it.
Good, and it's good. It's really good that you're finding like your opportunities are like increasing and moving forward.
Yeah, that's weird. I tell people that I'm a singer, they're like, "You can make a living?" Like, yeah, I know, right? It's so weird. I feel very, very grateful. I've been very active on a website called Air Gigs. Have you heard of it?
Sure.
Yeah.
I used it.
Yeah. I love it. It built an entire career for me. I've since removed all my other profiles from all the other platforms, and then just solely Air Gigs.
Did I find you on Air Gigs, or was it the other one?
Sound better.
Oh, okay. Those are the only two I use, so.
I couldn't get, I think I got 2 gigs on Sound Better, but they were great. You know, one was you, and another one was probably also a good one. But Air Gigs, I got so many incredible opportunities. I did a couple of openings for TV shows around the world, and
Nice.
it's crazy. It's so crazy. All from my house. And what I'm really excited about now when I'm interviewing different artists is that I barely ever speak to them. It's all
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
It works. It's really interesting. I'm very comfortable over email. I'm very comfortable.
Oh.
So, but it's interesting being able to connect emotionally to someone's project without meeting them. It's really exciting. Almost like getting to know someone without really like seeing them.
No, it's odd, but it's still disconnected. So for several years, everybody that I would work with, especially all the singers I would work with on these whole new album thing, I would meet. I would fly in. For a while, they all lived in England, so it was easy. And this dude, the guitarist on the album, is like, man, you got to go to like there's these sites called like Sound Better and Air Gigs. You can just hire singers to sing your thing. And I'm like, no. There you go. But after a bunch of years, then I didn't go anywhere. I only worked with people online, and a little bit ago, I decided that it's still okay, but I think there's something missing.
It's
I
a
think
different experience, absolutely.
I fly to a place, it's just for a weekend, man. It's just a weekend. I record you twice, you know, chances are we have either some lunch or some little dinner, and that's it. It's da-da-da-da. But something, there's something lost when that doesn't happen.
My theory, so I flew out to LA to meet someone that I co-wrote songs with, like long distance. He was in LA, I was in Israel, we met on air gigs, and at one point we were working together for a year, and we had like 30 songs. I'm like, all right, it's about time, I just need to come out and see you. And that brought out such a different creation, really crazy, like unexpected, to the same songs, a completely different tone. And it was because we had we had something to kind of, how did I say it, encounter. We had a challenge, I guess. We challenged each other. Yeah, if you're online, you do your thing.
Different points of view coming at things can be, a little turmoil of back and forth can create some interesting things.
Yeah, well, we sat, I wrote this song and we sat on it for like 6 hours rewriting every single lyric, and by the end of it we changed 2 sentences. And it was the most artist moment of my life. Like, this is all I've ever wanted.
Oh my God.
Just to be able to say that.
Yeah, I see that.
It happened. It was exciting. Or fighting with someone whether or not a song should have 2 beats in between or 4 beats. And arguing because it matters, but it doesn't. But it matters.
But it does. It does. Listen, I got this friend of mine. We knew each other in New York years ago. We were really close, really good friends, and then he moved to Texas, and I've moved off a whole bunch of places. And I haven't seen him in 14 years. But he does music, I do music. Every so often, we come together and we do an album under this, Proof to Destroyer thing. And they're both really, like, I love both of them. But so our thing, and I think this is because we already had a relationship from long ago, we made both these albums without really speaking a word. Like, he just sends me some guitar riffs. I just take them, I put some sounds behind them, I send them back. He sends them back, we send, and the whole thing happens. And these end up as concept albums. There's like a whole thing. And yes, like almost no discussion is ever had at any point. The entire thing just in my mail. I get like a track or 2 sent back, and then it's my turn to have the ball, and I take it and I send it off to him. And at some point, we're just like, oh, are we done? And we're done.
How do you know when you're done? Because I can't figure it out. I need someone to tell me I'm done.
No. When I start making corrections to something that I then have to go back. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should do this thing here, and I do it. And I'm like, oh no, let's go back to it. That's and it's all, and you already know it's close to complete. If you start doing that, that's your sign. Like, walk away, man. Like, walk away. Like, it's time to put.
Does it happen that you're like at the end and you want to change something drastically?
Yeah, or just any simple things, because you work on a track long enough. You're so used to hearing it and thinking like, well, maybe I should do something there. Oh, maybe I should change something here. But there comes a point at which you've done everything, and now the changes you make are just going to be putzing around. You're not adding anything. You're not.
But it feels like every tiny little decision makes everything different. It really feels that way.
It does.
Usually what I do is pop. And then suddenly Janissary came out of nowhere, and I got to just kind of go crazy, and then hear this crazy project afterwards. That was crazy, because I've never heard a story like this. And then afterwards with Jane the Cyborg, and like so many, it was so. And I remember listening to it, and you were talking about how she informed him that she was not a he. That it was just so open, and I've never heard a story so accepting so quickly of so many people and communities. It
story was mind-boggling.
Yeah, well, I try. I try hard.
Yeah, you can tell. It's more, you try hard to be inclusive.
The thing is, I started using I started using LGBT characters, okay, for various reasons. And then the more I started doing it, the more I thought, well, you're not doing that. You're really actually not doing that good of a job. You should, okay, do it again and like try harder, and then do it again and try harder and do it again. And then at some point, you know, albums and albums later, I mean, I didn't know who my fan base was. There was no contact with them. They're just, people would buy the albums, but I didn't know who they were. And
so
it wasn't.
You started getting to know your fans.
I mean, I was way albums into it. Like, you know, I was on like the second trilogy and the whole thing, when all of a sudden, you know, this server popped up, and I was absolutely able to, like, you know, join and look and see the people. And one thing I discovered there, and then even a little bit later, where I started to get these emails from kids, from like I think mostly high school age, and maybe stuff like early college, and they talked about how they found a character and the representation and what it meant to them. And dude, these things, I mean, I got a bunch of these, and they really, really, really like emotionally affected me. And I had this sort of, you know, this moment where a musician's life isn't worth very much. You sit all day, you make a bunch of music, you're like, yeah, rock on, you know, and what do you really do? And all of a sudden, in this moment, I see like there's this actual opportunity in what I do to actually do something good. Like, you actually are doing something good here, like, in really good, not just entertaining a bunch of people with a bunch of music. You're actually like, you got to do something good in this world. And so when I realized that, I'm like, okay, like, we're gonna, you know, this is a hill that we're gonna plant our, like, you know, battle flag on, and we're going to work hard, you know, to actually, like, help these kids in the one way I can. You want representation? I will give you representation. I will study, I will learn, I will do the best I can to make it, you know, not shitty, basically.
So you weren't involved in the community beforehand, you just kind of fell into it and then got to learn about it?
Yeah, they did, but they became my fans. I'm telling you, it's these emails by these kids where, you know, it was real. It was like, they're telling me their, like, life story. They're telling me how their parents don't accept them, how they, you know, their struggle with, like, who they are and da 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 da. I mean, really intense stuff, you know, kind of stuff where, like, you know, if you can make a difference, you sort of have to.
Yeah.
That's my speech.
I like that.
Eventually, there's going to come a day when the whole tale is going to move into the future. Like, we're just going to, like, shoot 300 years in the future. Spend a couple years doing a space opera.
Wow.
My only hope is that by the time I do it, you're not so huge that, like, I'm flying out to, you know, I go to Tokyo tomorrow, the day after, like, you know, I'm in Brazil. You know, Paul, you're great, but I can't possibly, you know, but if you call my agent, have your agent call my agent, maybe they'll talk.
And I don't know if you know how much of a special place your project has in my heart, because it's the first time I ever sang to people who were listening. It was always for artists that I gave my voice, and suddenly I was getting feedback from people who were excited about the story and involving different artists and aspects of it. It was so crazy that there were people that wanted to talk to me. That blew my mind. It was the first time I ever, like, got to experience a little bit of, like, fans.
I understand.
Yeah. It was really
Well, I worked for years in obscurity too, until one day.
Until one day.
One day.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much, Paul. This was so fun.
My pleasure. Okay, well, good luck.
Thank you. And we'll speak soon. I can't wait to hear the space opera.
No, one day you'll get an email.
I'll wait for the email. All right. Have a good one.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.